What's up? It's Lip Service. I'm Angela Yee.
I'm Gigi Maguire.
Oh, that's my cue. I'm Kim Osorio.
Girl.
I'm Akeem Woods.
I'm Aida Rodriguez.
I feel like we need to edit this because there was too many pauses.
It was paused because I thought
Because I wasn't paying attention. I was like, oh, it's my turn.
I thought only the hosts were doing it, and then y'all was gonna introduce the guests. That's what I thought was gonna happen.
No, we don't. Everybody introduce themselves up here.
Okay, girl.
Okay. All right. Well, I guess Kim Osorio's guest hosting.
Hey.
You've seen her up here before, but Kim and I have known each other forever. I know I always introduce you the same
As
way.
your friend.
Yeah.
I appreciate that.
My friend, but also the first woman editor-in-chief of The Source.
Hey.
What?
Author. Okay, straight from the source. Also, executive producer
Ew.
on TV shows that you may know. So, I mean, a ton of them.
A ton of them.
Growing Up Hip Hop, Black Ink, Loving Hip Hop, The Impact, New York. So, doing her thing for real. And she writes her own scripts too.
Yeah.
To be clear, we're
I'm
just
a writer.
waiting for her to really
To get to work.
go heavy
Stop
on
playing.
that.
Yeah.
All right, and Akeem Woods, who we've had up here.
We have.
Yeah, a couple of times. And he's guest hosted with me on Way Up, but a comedian.
Thank you.
And of course, my other friend, Aida Rodriguez, who is the woman of the hour today. Yay. Aida, who has her HBO special, Fighting Words, but also she's an author, legitimate kid. I love that word. She's an author.
I appreciate that. And I love that you read the books.
Oh,
That's
yes.
you actually read the books.
I love when I read a book and I know the person. Because you'd be like, child, I didn't know she was...
You did that. You did that to me.
Yeah.
Like, girl.
Like, I can't believe you did that. And Kim's book is juicy, too. I just want to put it out there.
Thanks.
But Gigi, by the way, is going to be at South by Southwest.
I am.
Me too.
Hey.
Monday.
Monday.
Me too.
Well,
Come
this
to
will
the
actually
show.
be out.
Yeah.
by then.
Okay. Well, this is coming
So
out
I'm so excited that we did our world premiere of the Magic City documentary. Oh, look, I'm wearing my shirt. Of the Magic City documentary yesterday. I want to say I'm excited as of yesterday.
I saw it. It was great.
But I'm so excited about this project. It's produced by Drake and Jermaine Dupri, along with, of course, Magic City and Jamie Gertz. And
Gigi's the narrator.
Yeah, I
Nice.
host and narrate.
We all can't wait to
as
see
well
it.
as sit for an interview. It's a 3-part docuseries and the world premiere, South by Southwest. I've been counting down this day since I found out like Christmas, like a little kid.
Did you say
So
Jamie Gertz,
excited.
the actress?
Yes.
Oh
So you
my
know
God.
her and her husband own the Atlanta Hawks.
I know, and her son went to school with my son.
Oh really?
I know her.
I love her.
Solar
She's
babies.
Such a sweetheart.
This is a big deal.
Yeah, it really is.
That's so dope.
Gigi, at Magic City, when you were there, what would you say, like, if you had to guess what your annual salary was? Like, how much would you say you were making, like, a year? Do you even know?
Probably like 150 to 200.
Sheesh.
Don't stop.
That's what I'm talking about.
How often did you work?
I filmed there before at Magic City.
Yeah.
We filmed scenes there.
Of course.
Yeah,
you had to.
everybody. Yeah.
I would try to work as much as I physically could because I always felt like when I wasn't there, I was missing money.
That's a good
Like
point.
I would rather go make
Yeah.
money than go spend money. And I felt like if I wasn't there making money, then I'm missing out. And like you never know what you're gonna make.
Okay.
Like
Oh,
you
yeah.
could make $6,000 on a Tuesday and you can make $7,000 on a Wednesday. Like you can make $300 on Monday and you can make $4,000 on, like you never really know.
'Cause
who's
you
Can
gonna
you
come
walk
there or
in
what's
the
gonna
club
be.
and look in the beginning and be like, oh, this is a $1,000
night.
night. This is a $2,000 night. You can't tell?
No.
They should throw money on comedians.
Man.
Girl. That'd change my whole life.
This is so funny. Get up close.
Get out of my studio
I'm gonna set
apartment,
it
girl.
off.
What's his name? Roland Martin threw some money at me when I did a comedy show, and I picked it up and threw it back.
You should have let that set things off.
Yo, I
right.
wish this
That
nigga
might
would throw
start us
money at
out.
me while I was on stage. It'd be
Right.
over.
No.
Like, who's next?
So I'm from Miami. So I grew up. Uncle Luke was my mentor. He was my. I interned for him.
Oh, nice.
So I was very involved and around a lot of the dancers.
Yeah.
Freaky Red, like it was a bunch of girls, and I remember Gloria. You know, like my beautiful Puerto Rock. And I always had this admiration and adoration for dancers because I remember one of the girls at my high school danced at the talent show.
She was,
And I just remember when she started dancing, everybody was like, and then by the end, all the teachers were running like, oh no, like put the clothes back on.
Wait, hold on.
She tricked him into.
She danced at the talent show and took her clothes off?
She started dancing, and then little by little, she was like, she became like one of the star dancers at the Rolex.
Wow.
And
in high school, you can't do that at a high school
I know
talent
girls
show.
that dance in high school.
But not at the talent show.
Well, I don't know about it.
It's a talent.
but it's embedded in the culture of like Miami. So,
Yeah.
It's a talent.
Yeah.
But it is a talent because there's people who are great, and then there's people that's like, come on, you gotta do more than walk around.
Yeah.
I feel like a misconception I had before I started was that every girl knew how to dance or had like a routine or like certain costumes that they wore.
Oh, no,
and
some
I
of them were
went
just
in
bad
blindly
bitches.
thinking that was the thing. And I got there and I'm like, half these girls can't dance at all.
Yeah.
They not flexible. They don't point their toes. Like
They can't get on that pole because
No,
Gigi
can't do the pole.
Gigi's kind of exceptional though. You can't like compare people to when Gigi was at Magic City. She started. Monday nights kicked off at Magic City because.
Well, not really because of me, but the
Kinda.
whole like pole movement I started. When I came to Magic City, none of these girls were doing pole tricks.
an
And
art
I came
form.
in at 110 pounds and an A cup, and that's all I had. I didn't have the big booty. I didn't have the popularity because nobody knew me from there. I was from Philly. But I had talent. And, that is what kind of pushed me ahead of the game.
It's all ab work. Like
Core.
it's so
Oh my
hard.
God.
Yeah,
I
it's
used to be
really a
like,
full body
remember
workout.
when it was so popular to do like pole fitness training? That shit was rough. I did a class once. I was like, look, my arms is hurt, my abs hurt, everything hurt.
It's a workout.
You'll be bruised
it's
up.
definitely a full body workout. And I want to say that because I taught classes as well after I retired. And I just want to say that I saw everyday women pull out like just sexiness and confidence that they didn't even know they had. And that was kind of, to me, that was probably like the best reward that I got from teaching is that we would have like lawyers and teachers and nurses and just like regular everyday moms, and they would come in and they would walk out a whole different person.
We
because
need
of
to
the
do this.
You need
Gigi, could you?
confidence.
Yeah,
let's do it.
Maybe we need to set up some type of like private class.
Yes.
Are y'all down?
We're not filming
Akeem,
it.
you two don't look around the room.
We'll do it, but
working
we're
out.
not
Listen,
filming
I'll
it.
do a little pole trick.
But let me
Yeah.
tell you, when I knew it was popular is when Sheila Kelly, that's David Kelly's wife, wrote a book called The S Factor, and it was all about the pole dancing. And I was like, this from the hood.
Wow.
How did you get this?
It's a book. Her.
Didn't they have that? Wasn't that the name of the classes too? They had S Factor.
Yeah. She branded it and everything, and I was like, "What? That's from where I come from.
That's amazing.
You don't know how to clap your booty." Like,
And listen, Akeem, there's a story that you were going to tell on Way Up that I would love for you to share now.
Oh,
He was like, I can't, because Way Up, my show on iHeart is a lot more
I told some of the story, and the people in the comments was
Family
like, "This is not a
friendly.
radio story." I'm like, I know.
PG. But now you could tell the real story of what happened in your gym class.
Okay, so I went.
Oh my God.
I don't know it.
I work it out. It was a midday workout. Like the sun was still out, but it was like getting to the cusp of the night. Great workout, but I realized that it was more dudes because I've been doing workout classes with Wheezy, and there were more dudes in this class than normal. It's normally just a bunch of white women. I'm like, all right, this is cool, dudes. I didn't get a good workout in because I was checking everybody out the whole time, so I didn't work out a lot. Afterwards, I go to the locker room, and I wish I would have kept this note. There was a note in the locker room, like in my locker, because I put all my stuff in the locker, and the note just had like an address, and it just said sex party, and then had an address.
Wow.
And in my head, I'm like, girl, I'm not going to this. So I
But
go.
in your penis, it said, yes, I am.
No, so I go home. I go home. I go home and I take a shower. And
That's how you knew you were going. And
No, no,
so
no,
you
no,
go
no.
home and take a shower. You're going.
no, I took a shower because I just worked out. I took a shower because I just worked out. And in my head, I'm like, I'm not going to this party. But then I put in the address. Bitch, it was 3-minute walk. It was 3 minutes walk.
God
I'm
said
like,
you are going.
I'm like, well, the Lord wants me to go. Like,
Lord is
clearly,
my shepherd.
Out
the
of all of
Lord
New York, you were 3
wants
minutes
me to
away
go.
on foot.
So I go to the party, and it's a gay sex party. So exactly what you think is happening is happening. A lot of hot dudes, a lot of people of color too. I'm like, okay, inclusion.
Right.
So it's just at one point, but here's the thing. At one point, I'm fucking this dude. and I look over and I see a mirror and I see myself fucking this dude. And I'm like, nigga, it's Monday. You shouldn't be doing this much gay shit on a Monday afternoon. Like, nigga, you have a problem.
What position were you in the mirror when you looked up? Was he bent over?
Yeah, he was bent over.
Okay.
And there was a
That's
dude.
what I envisioned.
And there was a dude behind me.
He was behind you.
He was behind me, like this is gonna be. I can't wait to read the comments on this because y'all are gonna be.
What was
really,
he doing behind you?
He was eating my ass, so he was behind.
Oh, okay.
That's a nice reflection.
Visual.
In the mirror too.
I thought you were going
cannot-
to say something else, like you were ambidextrous.
No, I cannot wait to the homophobic comics, and this is gonna be
So
wild.
wait, I have to ask. So are there rules to this sex party when you walk in? Like, does someone greet you? Like, what happens?
Well,
You
this
just go in and it's
this
just
one was
whatever.
Lock your
actually
phone up.
this was actually a really safe sex party. So there's lube everywhere. There's a bunch of condoms.
Okay.
There's refreshments.
Okay.
There's gay
type
ass
of
music
refreshments
playing.
do they have
Just
at
like
the
drinks, stuff like that.
Okay.
Like wine.
And then there's music playing and the strobe lights, and then there's just dudes fucking.
Is there a host? Like, hey, welcome
There
to the
probably
sex
was.
party.
I think the host was
Okay.
the one who was getting fucked the most.
Okay.
Like he was like the belle of the.
I'm
trying to get a
Most
visual.
with the most.
The bell of the balls.
He was the belle.
Trying to
He
get a
was the
visual.
belle of the balls.
Okay.
And so anyway, this has happened. I look at the mirror and I see myself in the mirror. I'm like, oh, Akeem, it's Monday.
Let me ask you
You
this.
can't
How
have-
did the room smell?
It honestly smelled good.
Okay.
Because they had air fresheners and
Right.
shit going. There was music.
Right.
Like it smelled like sex at the end.
Yeah.
At the end.
And I will say I stayed too long. Like if there's sex
Close
party,
it out.
if
Close
So
there's
it out.
sex party
everything in the
etiquette,
open
nigga, I
room?
was there too long.
Everything's in an open room. There's
Yeah,
no
yeah.
private rooms.
There's no private. There are private rooms, but I didn't go.
But what's the private rooms for?
So,
I don't know. I didn't
I
go.
can tell you.
Tell us, Aida.
You know, it's the least likely person to have a sex party story here is probably me. But I can tell it now because my daughter's older. But when my daughter was little, she had a teacher she was young and
Yeah.
she was, she was cool. And she was like, hey, if you guys ever go out, I would love to go out with you guys. So we were like, hey, we're gonna go out this weekend. So one of our other friends is friends with these two queer girls and they want to have a baby.
Mm-hmm.
So they decide that they're gonna get impregnated at a sex party, at a sex club,
I
right?
had no idea who the dad is.
They brought the dad, but they wanted
Oh, okay.
everybody to be there to watch.
Okay, I thought they were going to just
Yeah.
have sex and hope one of
No.
them hit. Like,
No, they wanted the community to be there. But I didn't know any of this was going on, right? So I take the teacher with me. I say, hey, we supposed to be going to this party.
This is where Aida goes.
And then I walk in, it's a locker room.
Yeah.
Right? And I'm like, yo, what is that? This is an interesting venue, right?
Yeah.
So I got my clothes on, and then there's a buffet,
Oh.
right?
We didn't
And
have that.
They had salmon, they had salad. No alcohol in LA though. In
Yeah.
LA, you bring your own alcohol. So everybody had these brown paper bags. So this is when I realized something was off because I saw salmon and ass, right? And I was
Yeah.
like, this is not a good comment. I'm not eating salmon or ass. It was an old white man.
One
that
or
had-
the other.
Yeah, he had a cowboy boots on. I was like, is this man naked?
Right.
So we go out and then there's the dance floor and they're dancing and people are naked. Some people have clothes. They're trying to pull people. So I'm like, oh my God.
And it's men and women?
Men and women.
Okay.
And I told the teacher, I am so sorry. I did not know. And
What if the teacher was like,
she
no?
was having the time of her life. She's like, I didn't expect it either. But
said it's lit.
she's like,
When in Rome.
let's go
like-
dance.
Yeah.
We go dance. And then I was
The
like,
fact that you stayed and danced is hilarious.
I danced with her, yeah, because I was like, I don't want protective services to come get my kids, so I'm gonna appease this lady. So we go to the other side, and that's when it's happening. The girls are having sex. They're in this plexiglass room that's covered. They're in the chamber. They having sex. All the friends are watching. I was like, okay, this is kind of ritualistic. I'm gonna go. I go. This dude is sitting at a chair. He's like, talking to me, and he's like, "Come here, let's not." He's fine. So I'm just having a conversation
Yeah.
with him, and then I never looked down on the floor to realize that there was a line of women on their knees in line to give him head.
Oh my gosh.
And
So you cut the line and talk to
just
him?
casually talking
He's talking to me. He's like, "What's your name?" He was like,
Yo.
wanted
he
you to
think
cut
I'm
that
in. He
line.
trying to get me in
Right.
line.
Yeah.
That's nice. VIP treatment.
Yo,
Yeah.
all the bitches, the bitches behind, like, wait a second, does he got a fast pass?
But I don't know. So I'm sitting there talking. He's like, "Where you from?" And he was like, "You Puerto Rican?" I was like, "I'm Puerto Rican."
Yeah.
The girl, she goes, undoes his pants, and she gets it. And then I was like, "I think I'm gonna go."
Yeah.
Like, but I'm curious. I want to know everything. I'm like, I'm doing investigative journalism now, right? You know, I just want to know. I go upstairs. I hear these people screaming. It's the S&M chamber. They have.
Oh, that's the private room.
Yes. And this woman is like, "Ah!" And then I'm like, "We gotta go get this bitch." Like, somebody's her. I don't know what it is. I'm like, "They're doing something to a woman.
Right.
We gotta go get her." We go up in there. They got her tied up. Cat of nine tails. It's a couple.
Yeah.
They're eating her. It was amazing because I was just like, I didn't know that this.
Right.
Yeah.
And it was very, very sanitary. People cleaning up.
Yeah,
constantly
that's the thing people
cleaning
don't
up.
realize about sex party. Because I told some of the story on the radio and people were commenting, disgusting disease. I'm like, y'all don't realize planned sex parties are clean.
Right. No COVID.
Yeah, those people are sanitizing,
They have
those
masks
condoms,
on.
those lubes, those everyone's checking. Like you have, like they're clean.
So wait, have you ever been to a sex party, Kim?
No.
It felt like
I'm
you were about
very
to say
boring.
yes.
No, I know how boring I am.
You know what?
No.
Gigi, I'm not even gonna
Never
ask
even
you.
been
I
invited.
haven't. I've been
You
to
haven't
I've been to a
invited.
swingers club
Okay.
where I just
Angela?
like watched.
No, I was
but
gonna
I haven't
say
been to an actual sex party.
back in the day, because in the music business, the reason I asked you is remember they used to have the Mix Show Power Summit,
I went to that one.
and
There was something going on, right?
yeah, so
They would have never let me find out. They would be like, "She's gonna write a story."
but it was always the guys that did it. But I
Yeah.
just remember I was leaving to go catch a flight. And so it was an event that they would do. It was actually in
Puerto
Dominican
Rico.
Republic.
It was in Puerto Rico.
They had it in both places. I
Yeah.
think some years, and then they moved it to DR. I think the year when it was in Dominican Republic. But what they do is for the DJs, they used to set it up for like prostitutes on the island to come, and it would be like a big room.
I remember.
Yeah, remember that?
I remember that.
So I remember I was leaving early. I had like a super early flight trying to get back home. And so I get on the elevator at like 6 a.m, and a whole bunch of guys like that were there, and I knew some of them get on, and it smelled like ass. And I guess they were just coming from the party, you know, that they had where they said it was like a room. One of them told me it's like a room, and they turn the lights off, and then they go for it, and then the light comes back on, and then those people have to leave to let the next group of guys in.
Jesus.
Yeah. But it doesn't sound as well organized or sanitary as the events that
This happens monthly in LA, which I didn't know. It's like a pass. You pay a monthly fee, and they do it like once a week. That was then. I don't know if they do it anymore.
For straight people?
Yeah, it's everybody.
Really?
It wasn't just straight people. It was all kinds of stuff happening there.
Wow.
And my friend was like, "You ain't do nothing. You ain't do." I didn't, because I was in love with a loser at that time. I went in. I saw everything. But I you know what? I did it like a tour. I was like, "And where is that? And what is this?" Because I wanted to see all the stuff that was happening.
It is interesting to see, even if you don't participate. It is very interesting to see. I've never seen a straight one, but because I don't want to see naked women. But I'm sure
I saw more naked men than women. The men were less inhibited. They were so free in there. You could see the awkwardness with the women.
That's what I was thinking. It is awkward for women to go for straight ones, because I can't imagine, because the dynamic is, because there's still a power dynamic between the men and the women. So I imagine the energy there is different, because at the gay ones, it's just everyone's just like, "Hey, we all like dick." So it's like, it's like, but.
And I feel like in general, men like being naked. Like
Yeah.
we do.
It's amazing. It's, you see
Women are more conscious about their bodies.
Yeah. The beautiful women, they were all like this.
Yeah.
And then this crusty balls.
Ugly
hanging
niggas
on
get
you.
naked
Yeah,
quick.
men you just
Ugly-
walk around like
Ugly niggas get naked so quick.
Yeah, they did not hesitate.
Yeah.
It was amazing. It was I never went back. Like, I think one of my girlfriends said she started going because she liked to go. I don't, who am I to judge anybody? I feel like as long as people people get to do stuff like that, that's less violence.
Have a good time.
You know, it keeps the violence against women down.
Enjoy yourself, love.
But they, exactly.
Yeah, I think I will say the one time I did go to one, I did like it because I kind of felt like a bad bitch because everyone was like chasing after me. I'm like, oh, am I a 10? Like this whole time I was a bitch. Like, I didn't know. So sometimes when I'm feeling bad about myself, I'm gonna show up to like a little gay sauna and be like, okay, look at this.
Does it bother you if a guy has a little dick?
In there or in
general
reality?
in life?
I mean, I don't prefer it.
Okay.
Yeah. I don't want to say it bothers me. I don't want to shame, but it does. Yeah, it's not my thing.
You know, but that's a very interesting question because I think about that because of the hardware.
Yeah.
And, you know, the implications of how painful that would be.
You mean anal?
Anal.
Yeah.
Oh, but anal's not painful. For men, we have a prostate.
It's not painful for men?
No, I mean, not to say that it's not painful at all, but like
That's not how it looked on ours.
Because those are straight people.
Right.
Those are straight
They're a
people.
little tense.
Those are straight people pretending to have gay sex.
Right.
I know.
Actual
But
gay
I
sex.
also kind of feel like the first time it probably hurts.
The first 100%.
Yeah.
But then if you get lube, but also at the same time, I'm not like I had a dude that wanted to fuck me. I don't know if I showed you his picture. I have to show you his picture. His dick was it was dude in Atlanta, a black dude. His dick was so big, he sent me a picture and I just sent him LOL.
Oh, I think you did.
Yeah, I did show you the picture. Because I'm like, yeah, I got
What am I
things
supposed to do
I
with
got
that?
things to do. Like you're not fucking me. So we hooked up, but I just sucked his dick or whatever. And by the way,
How did you do that then?
poorly.
Yeah.
It was the worst blowjob.
struggle.
It was such a bad.
Yeah.
It made me feel like I didn't know how to suck dick. I'm like, wait a second, I've been sucking dick for a long time, but I felt bad. I'm over here I'm doing all the dick stuff. I'm like, yo, am I bad at sucking dick? Because it was so massive. I have to show you all later. I'll show you a picture. It was ridiculous.
And it's also hard when it's really curved.
Yeah. Oh yeah, you saw the picture. Yeah, it was.
It was a
Yeah, it was our
curved,
first and
long
last
one.
time hooking
That
up.
makes it really hard.
Yeah.
That's a challenge.
Well, you know, Ida's a celibate, so none of this is relevant.
I know. I've been celibate for 18 months.
Oh.
It's been almost 2 years. But it's so funny. It's not like I ain't never had dick before.
She forgot what
I'm not like
riding a bike.
You know how some people they become celibate and they become so pious and they're like, oh, I've given my life to. No, I had to take myself out the game because I was in a relationship and it wasn't working for me. So I went into this trauma therapist. And I did a trauma therapy program, and one of the things that you have to do is not engage, and you have to be celibate, and you have to stay away. Not just the sexual part, because the sexual part is actually the easy part. It's the emotional part that gets connected to the sexual part. So she was like, "I need you not to be involved with men in this way."
For how long?
I'm almost done. I'm still doing it. I'm almost done.
Oh wait, the program is longer than 2 years?
No. I had. No, I broke up and then I hadn't been with anybody. And then I started doing the program. It's the best thing though for me. The best thing I've ever done. I feel, and it's not religious, not to shit on anybody who does it for religious reasons. But I was like, we got so much trauma and we walk around with so many issues. And for women, they deposit all that shit into us.
Yeah.
And I was like, yo, I gotta get myself together because I don't want to be in what I've been in before. And it's been good. It's been hard, you know, it's been hard. And
So wait, you can't have any type of intimacy at all though? It's
no
not
intimacy.
So no kissing, nothing.
No.
For how long?
I'm almost done. It's while you do, it's 12 steps. It sounds like AA.
Right.
But it's like 12 steps and
What step are you on?
9.
Okay.
Oh, wow.
Yeah,
Okay.
I'm
So you're like
more to go.
almost-
I be trying to do these steps fast as shit.
Yeah.
How long is each step? How long is
Well,
each
it depends. It's been a long time for me because of my schedule. Because the therapist, I have to sit with her. And I have to do these exercises.
That makes sense because you.
It's been, but it's been like to get clear without having that in my ear, all that game and all that toxicity from a man telling me everything that's wrong with me because women don't fix plates no more, all that bullshit. And I'm like, yo, I just want to be with a healthy man. Above all things, you know, he got to be fine to me and all of that. But I want to be with somebody who's healthy because I've never been in a healthy relationship.
Wow, I wonder why that is. You know,
You read my book.
Well, we were watching Love is Blind, you know, me and Akeem.
Great show.
Excuse me.
But one of the couples that didn't end up getting married,
Spoiler. Go ahead.
yeah, I mean, it's
it
all
came out
over
already.
online.
Sound.
I know.
It's all over
I just want to,
one
One
let
of the
people
couples
know.
didn't end up getting married, and you got to see his parents have a conversation
Mm-hmm.
and how
Oh,
what
yeah.
his parents were like
Clay.
played a role in him being scared because he watched his father's infidelities
Mm-hmm.
and just a lot of things that happened with his parents. It kind of had him
Yeah.
nervous.
I think that was an excuse.
You think
I
so?
do too.
I
I
think
do
that was an
too.
excuse.
But he had been
Watch
saying
my
it from the. I
father.
will say he had been saying it from the beginning.
He did,
Yeah.
but I just feel it's like I just kept hearing excuse.
You don't believe him?
I didn't believe him
That's the problem
either.
with reality TV.
I don't think he
producers.
wanted to. Yeah, because the whole time
don't
I'm
believe
watching
shit.
it, I'm like,
But what's so
they're building this.
You watching it from that eye.
Somebody's gonna say no. 'Cause
What
they
was-
were building it
yeah.
too much, and
I
you were
felt
too
the same
invested
way.
in their couple,
Yeah.
their love.
What was
You
so
were too
weird about it is like
invested.
you know the premise of the show.
Yeah.
It's the 6th season.
Right.
You knew it was going to end in marriage.
And think about this, right? You see how the other guy told the girl before
Yeah,
they got
Chelsea
to the
and Jimmy.
yes, that was good.
Those two,
Well, not good, but you know what I mean.
Clay and AD, I felt like you watched them together and they really looked
It
like
seemed
they were.
perfect.
It seemed too perfect,
Yeah.
right? He could have told her.
He waited till they were at
Right,
the altar.
he waited
Yeah.
till
He
that
said, I
moment.
do. And then he
Toxic.
was like,
And then
Yeah.
yeah. I don't think
Yeah.
it's responsible for me to get married right
Yeah.
now.
Right.
He
At
said
the
it.
altar.
If you don't want to break
Toxic.
someone's heart, you could tell them off camera,
Yeah.
right?
You
know how I
Unless she
knew-
was in on it, but I
You
don't
know
think
how I
she
knew
was.
he wasn't going to do it?
Right?
He freestyled his vows. He didn't like have that. I feel like vows, you kind of think about that.
Yeah.
Right? Like when
Mm-hmm.
you get married, you don't just get up there and be like, you know, you real cool. And I just feel
Yeah.
like we like
Yeah.
get along.
I also didn't like the fact that he kept blaming his daddy. It's like you. It's,
Yeah, it was
like,
an
At
excuse.
some point, you got to look in with. It's not. You
Yeah.
can't keep blaming your daddy.
He said his
Yeah.
dad took him with him when he went to cheat.
I didn't
Yeah.
like that
His
either.
mom.
Be-
I think that's
Yeah.
And the mom said
traumatizing
she
in a
didn't
way.
really
That is
even-
traumatizing.
yeah, and the
learned
mom
that
didn't find out
until
till the show.
He said it on the
I
I'm
know.
camera.
like, that's toxic.
You know, my ex-husband apparently had my daughter when he was cheating with him a few times.
Cheating field trips is wild.
That's not to me. It's like
Cheating
there's
field
got to
trips
be
is wild.
some type of like
Boundaries.
yes,
Yes,
Yeah.
Like
yes.
you don't.
But when she
bring
was too little to
nobody
know.
in your bed. At
You know
home.
what I'm
They
saying?
don't meet the kids.
Yeah.
Yeah,
You
no,
know, there's
no.
got to
There's
be
just-
some type
I
of
wouldn't hook up with
rules.
someone who had a kid in the room. Even
yeah,
in
what
the
type
in
of
the
woman
building.
is okay with that?
Because you know a lot of I read this comment on these like the Instagram post that'll say women what's how do you tell if they're lying or whatever
Yeah.
and I circled one of them and sent it to a friend of mine because it was funny. We know guys that say this. It's like when you're living with someone but you're not together.
Oh yeah,
Right?
yeah.
Like,
Yeah.
I still live with her, but
we
and
ain't
I
fucking.
feel
Yeah,
like
yeah.
when I was married, he possibly would have. Now, listen, I don't give
Said
the
that.
whole the benefit of the doubt, but I feel like he probably said,
Right.
we're not together.
But
Yeah.
I will
We're
say
married,
that
but
does
we're not
happen a lot.
together.
Because I think about even my parents when I was growing up. My dad like slept on the couch all the time. Because I feel like sometimes people stay together because it's convenient. They have kids.
They do.
And there's people who like really. I have friends who legitimately don't have sex in their relationship.
I have friends like that too.
and it's,
I do not.
yeah. No, literally.
He's like, we all
married-
having sex. I just talking about
Literally
sex.
married, but they're
Somebody
not
having
even
sex with
having
somebody.
sex.
But the
yeah.
thing is, if you're not in the relationship, right? Like, I think it's worse when you stay together for the kids. I think
agree.
if you're gonna break up,
Yeah.
I think just
do
break up. Just stop
But I think
staying
it's
together
easier
for
to
the
say than to do.
It's because it's phony to me. And
Oh,
now the
that's
kids,
Yeah.
they need to learn. I mean, it's hard. The worst time you can break up for kids is when they're between like 7 and 11, right? Like anytime before that, the kid's kind of too young and
Don't really get
it's
it.
fine. They don't,
I miss
they don't care. And then after that, the kid can process what's going on. But between like
understand more.
7, like that pre-adolescent age,
Yeah.
it's really bad for parents to like get divorced at that time. So a lot of people stick with it. But I feel like a lot of men know after like 1 year of having the baby whether they want to stay, or women, right? Whether they want to stay or leave. I feel like
That's a
they
tough
do.
time though with like women who go through postpartum and babies do change a relationship.
It absolutely.
in ways that, I mean, I guess it's a case by case basis, but I will say knowing that his dad used to bring him and
How old was he?
his
Did he say how
mom
old he
seemed
was?
really cool, like and very
He was old enough to remember.
To understand.
Yeah.
So I could imagine that would make somebody feel like shit. Like in a relationship, I don't know if I should do this. And his dad kind of was not taking that much accountability.
No,
His
I
dad didn't
also
say
wouldn't have
much.
told
His
that
dad
story
was-
on TV.
Especially knowing that the mom didn't know.
Knowing that the mom didn't know,
So
I
you're,
wouldn't.
you're
I
putting
wouldn't.
boundaries on people who are on a show called Love is Blind? That's where you're like, this is where I draw the line.
The
But
mom
to
was
talk
great
about
though.
adultery.
Yeah,
She
the
was.
mom was great. When she
The
read
mom
him
was
a little
very
bit, it
sweet.
was
I
very
felt bad for
like
the mom. Yeah.
She was like,
Yeah.
you weren't good to me.
yeah, she called him out on it too.
Can you imagine falling in love with somebody though and not seeing them?
I'm toxic, so yeah. For me, I can't wait till they make a gay version. If they make a
He
gay
said they
version,
can't.
I know they can't.
He told me it's
It's impossible because the whole premise of the show is they separate them, the men and the women, but for gay people they can't. And I told this story and to Sam, y'all know Sam J, and I said it, and Sam's gay, lesbian. Sam's like, they'll just separate the tops from the bottoms. I'm like, bitch, that's not gonna work.
Yeah,
Right.
Because
Some people are-
if you put me in with the tops and I see a hot enough top, I'm like, oh, I'm a bottom now.
Yeah.
like
he said they'll all be fucking each other.
Yeah.
You ain't got no code.
So it wouldn't work logistically, but if they find out how to do it logistically, sign me up. I can't wait to find my
even like
blind
when
husband.
Chelsea and Jimmy saw
My
each
blind
other, you could tell he didn't really like feel her like that.
Oh,
Right? So
Yeah.
you could fall in love with somebody's personality, with that then overshadow what they look like to you, because physical attraction is a thing.
Yeah.
And I feel like it's not fair to act like you're superficial because if you may not be physically attracted to someone.
right,
I just wish they were more honest with her. I wish the dude, when he saw that she didn't look like Megan Fox,
right.
he should have been like, yo, bitch, I
he
signed
said
up for
something.
Megan.
He did. He said you lied. He said you
He was
lied.
like, "You're not. This
He-
is not what I thought."
He
What did he
said
say?
it, but he didn't say it with enough honesty for me.
Yes.
He said it
He
too
said it like
nicely.
jokingly.
I saw that on social
Yeah,
Yeah.
media.
she told. She
You know,
said I
but-
look like
But
Megan
were they
Fox.
in the bed?
He's
Didn't he
like,
tell her that like
Yeah.
when she asked him, was this couple?
Yeah.
She said, "What do you like the best about me?" He said, "Your teeth." Was that them
Yeah,
too?
yeah.
That's
Well,
kind of
that's never a
like
good answer.
Yeah.
my
Somebody on
teeth.
social media was like, you either look like Megan, the little creature, or you look like the fox, but you don't look like her. I was like, what is this about? And then I
And
saw,
not to diss her looks either,
Yeah.
but that's a weird person. Like you cannot compare yourself to
Right.
like.
Yeah.
Right.
You know, it's always going to be a letdown when people be like, "Oh, I look just like this person."
Yes.
It never works out well.
Also, I will say it was a loaded question for him to ask because, bitch, this show's called Love is Blind. I
Right.
ain't telling you who the fuck I look
Why I
like.
look
Nigga,
like-
you supposed
yeah.
to be blind.
How many times have you fallen in, or maybe not fallen in love, but ended up dating somebody who physically, like, normally you wouldn't have? And you know how in the beginning you're like, "I would never," and then you end up being with that
I
person.
did. I think
Yeah, I did
the
too.
most unattractive. Go ahead. I talk way more than you. I want to hear what you got to say.
No, well, I usually like tall, dark guys, and I was with a short. I don't want to say what nationality or what like culture, but he was not black. Yeah, and,
I know who
And
I
there
know.
was nothing, let's say, big about him.
Ooh.
So what was it about
Okay.
him that made you change your mind?
It was his personality. It was our chemistry. We went maybe like 6 months before we had sex.
Was the
First
sex
time.
good? All right.
wow. Okay.
I dated somebody who my friends were like, he's not your physical type. I wouldn't call him ugly, but I would say that he just didn't look like somebody that I would date. But he had the most swag of anybody I ever dated. He had the
Nice.
most personality. He had he's from the Bronx, but he is the most swagged out dude I ever went out with. And I was like, it was his personality that got me. I just wanted to say, because I've been on a reality show, people will say,
What reality show?
Last Comic
Last Comic
Standing.
Standing.
Okay.
That's right.
And when I was on Last Comic Standing, when I got eliminated from the show, I walked off the set and
Yeah.
they walked me into a room with a therapist.
Oh,
They
damn.
have them on set.
Right.
Oh,
So
wow.
when you
Kim's
see-
like, "We don't do that on the show."
No. Yes.
No, I'm
we-
playing.
you got to go through psych eval.
Okay.
Yeah, you get a psych eval after. So when people say that they see these reality shows and they're like, oh, they set this up, I'm like, you will be surprised what people will do when the cameras get on.
Yeah. People
They-
are
Right.
totally different people. Yeah.
Yeah.
I was on a reality show too.
Me too.
Me and Kim were on it
Together.
together.
Oh.
Yes,
As
we
a
were.
matter of fact,
Yes, we were.
And there were things I was like, now hold on. This is like people would just make stuff up. and they say anything about you, you think the cameras are off, you think y'all cool, the cameras come on all of a sudden.
Yeah.
Mm.
You
And
know,
that was
talk
before
shit, the
Psychoval. Remember, they didn't have that.
Yeah, they
But
definitely
that
didn't have that.
Psychoval stuff just happened a couple
What
years
show was
ago.
this?
What was it
The
called
Gossip
again?
Game.
I forgot the name of the damn
The
show.
Gossip Game.
Yeah, the
Yeah.
Gossip Game.
Yep.
Yeah.
And it's a lot also because you're sitting around waiting to film for like hours. And so by the
Man.
time you go film, you're like
Yeah.
exhausted. Like,
Have you been
Yeah.
on one?
It's a lot of.
yeah, Gigi was on Beyond the
Beyond the
Pole.
Pole
right.
on We TV
That's
season 2.
right.
I need to get on a reality show.
Put you
Yeah.
on one.
Yeah.
What show
So
could I see you on?
You said some
I don't
basic.
know.
It's a lot of work.
Love is Blind. It's
a lot of
the
work.
gay
bro.
edition.
Listen,
We got to figure out a way.
You know,
to
call
Call
it
it
make
something
something
happen for you.
different, like
Remember
Love is
the guy
Bent
that was
Over.
on the other season of
Love is
Love is
Bent.
Blind and
Love
he was
is
really
Bent.
gay, but he pretended to be
yo,
straight?
he slid in my
I heard about him
DMs.
too.
He
Wait,
slid in my
who was
DMs.
He was on Love is Blind, but he was gay.
He was bi.
And he ended up, he was bi. He
Yeah.
ended up with a woman, like they
Yeah.
were, but then it turns out he was bi.
And she was mad
Oh,
about
I
it.
remember that. That was the
Yeah.
first season, right?
Carlton or something like that. Cliff, something with a C.
I think that was the
Yeah,
first
I think
season.
Yeah,
it
he
was
slid in
the
my
first
he
season.
slid in my
Yeah,
DMs.
yeah, yeah.
What'd he say?
Did you respond?
No.
I know.
He was too problematic. I ain't got that time for that.
Right.
Oh, okay.
Right.
Also, I don't live in Atlanta. I'm not going to Atlanta.
Oh, so that's the real reason.
Nah, he was problematic. And I'm not gonna lie, if he was a little bit finer, I would have replied back.
Ah,
There
now
we
you know
go.
why.
Right.
All right, now another thing I wanted to get into right now is Risa Tisa.
Oh.
Right, you know she signed to CAA. They're gonna make a movie. There's like a bidding war over her story to make
Wow.
her movie. But one of the main things that she's very honest about when she's telling her story is all the red flags that she
Oh, girl, it was a
Ignored.
red flag continent.
Yeah, the whole thing was red flags everywhere.
Yeah.
I will say, in her defense, it was during the pandemic, and the pandemic was like the Super Bowl for scamming people because it was the best time to scam people,
Yeah.
and she got scammed. But it was
Yeah.
like it was the pandemic. We didn't know what was going to happen. We thought the apocalypse was coming. So
Well, in her defense, I also want to say, pandemic or not, we all ignore some red flags.
Yes.
Yeah.
Because
Absolutely.
you kind of believe what you want to believe.
Yep.
Oh,
Like she
100%.
was like, I know he lying, but
Yeah.
whatever.
Yeah.
I'm gonna let him continue this lie.
Yeah.
I just told him, let's not look at no more houses. And he had a test driving cars, dude. Like it was.
He was crazy.
And you
Yeah.
see, he's like replying now.
Yeah.
Yeah, now he's
He's
starting to come
because
out.
loving
he's a
this fame.
He
Yeah.
loves the
He's
fact
loving
that
the
people know
attention.
that the fact
Who
that
he
we're
is,
even
yep.
saying his name right
Yeah.
now.
But
he's
doesn't he have
getting off
mental
on it.
illness? Isn't
Yes.
his family say
He
that
d-
he has
his brother came out and said he had mental illness.
So let's talk about in solidarity
Mm-hmm.
with Risa Tisa, what are some things that we've done? And as far as ignoring red flags that we have been so embarrassed to even talk about, but we can just put it on the floor
Red flag.
right here.
Red flag.
All right, Kim.
Oh my God. My whole wedding was a red flag.
The reality
A whole-
show was a red
a
flag.
whole-
People were like, I don't know about this.
Was that before? Yeah. There were a lot of red flags that. Okay, so when I got married for the wrong reasons, right? Like you get married because you want to be married. A lot of women get into situations because they want to be married, right? You want to be married, you want to get into a family. So it wasn't necessarily like the right person. He wasn't the right person for me. And I think throughout, like there was cheating before we were married. So for me, that's a red flag, right?
Yeah, for sure.
That's who you are, right? But you kind of like, well, we weren't married, or maybe you ignore it, you ignore certain behaviors. Like there were a lot of things that happened that I was just like, okay. But you have kids, so you stay in it for those reasons, But even the wedding, I was saying just yesterday, that I always wanted a destination wedding. So when I got married, why didn't I have a destination wedding? Because this fool wanted to do it here, wanted his family there. And so like I gave into that,
Right.
Because it was like you're getting married, you want to compromise, and I didn't get what I wanted. Like I wanted to go away and get married. So I think there were a lot of things,
Right.
that and a lot of relationships.
Yeah, that's why I'm saying we're standing in solidarity. Now,
Yeah,
Ida, you've
relationships.
also been married. Okay, so but even whether or not it was that, what are some red flags that you ignored? And now that you look back, you're like, what was I thinking?
This is why I'm in this program. Growing up, you read my book, Without My Father, and being illegitimate and feeling like I wasn't enough. One of the things that I remember listening to and thinking that it was cool, as long as he comes home to you, It doesn't matter what he does in the streets, or buying into this whole idea that men are not designed to be monogamous.
Right. Because they will tell you that, and society will tell you that.
Yeah, and so I think that the reality of it is, listen, I was dating somebody. He's in the book. He's an actor. This motherfucker is he used to lie with a straight face, and I got to the point where I'll be like, I feel like I'm in a scene and I don't have my lines.
Right.
Can you give me the script so I'll know?
Right.
So I can
tear
stick
coming
to
down, that one glory tear.
Oh.
I remember one time he was missing, right? He would disappear, and he popped up and he had on this ring, this real ring, like a skeleton ring. And I said, "Where have you been?" You're not gonna believe what happened. He was like, I ended up in a fight with all these Mexicans. And I beat one's ass so bad that I took his ring as a trophy.
Wow.
Bitch.
And I was I spent the night on his doorstep because I wanted to know where he was.
Right.
Yeah.
And I just remember just thinking to myself, I know this is a lie.
Yeah.
But it's like that, like Corey Holcomb has a joke that says, you're gonna trade in 2 dimes and a nickel for a case quarter. Like, what am I gonna do? I'm gonna break up with him, and then I'm gonna have to do this again with somebody else who's also gonna do this.
Yeah.
Because in my thinking, that's what I believe about men.
Yeah.
And so I was just like, just get over it and then get on with
I'm
it.
glad you won the fight.
Yeah, I was
Glad he won the fight. He got no marks on him.
Right.
Nothing.
No, furious. It was just lie after lie, and you know it. You can
Yeah,
feel
you
it.
know.
Yeah.
God, you know what guys lie about? They'd be like, I was in jail, I got arrested.
Oh
They
man,
say whatever.
Yeah, they say I fell asleep at my
Anything.
friend's house. I remember a guy, this is how I should have known it was a red flag. I should have never got in a relationship with this guy. He, when I first met him, he had just gotten out of a relationship with his ex. But then I guess they ended up getting back together, but he did not tell me. And so all of a sudden, things changed because I was seeing him all the time. And then things really, really slowed down. So I was like, all right, cool. He wasn't my boyfriend. We just were kind of dating a little bit. And then one day I'm at work and his ex-girlfriend again calls me, and I guess he had broke a phone and got a new phone. And so she was calling from his old phone. And
she put it back together.
she saw that he was calling me a lot, and she was like, I'm at his house right now. I'm pregnant. And yeah, she told me this whole thing. She's pregnant. She's staying at his house. They live together. And then he called me on the other line while I was talking to her.
Wow.
Oh,
Yeah.
wow.
Wow.
So, I told him, I was like, your girlfriend's on the other line, and he's horrified. So she ends up throwing all his stuff out the window and breaking his TV, calling his parents. She never even met his parents, but she got their number. Called
And was
his
she
parents.
really pregnant?
No, she wasn't. She actually, by the way, though, did had an abortion and was resting at his house.
Oh, so she
his
was.
apartment.
So at some
she
point she
was
was
pregnant.
pregnant.
She already
Right.
had the
Pregnant, but
abortion though,
right.
but she was acting like she was
She
having
was
a baby.
having a baby.
Yeah.
That's a red flag, though.
Yeah.
for
Yeah.
him.
So
Yeah.
So anyway, I stopped talking to him after that. But then one day I was on the train going home, and I run into him on the train, and then he wasn't with her anymore. Because then it was embarrassing for him. The neighbors
Right.
had to gather his belongings.
Oh,
after
Yeah,
she
that's a
threw
lot.
the
Wow.
ball
There's
outside.
nothing like someone
crazy.
throwing stuff out the window.
And I was like, so we end up little by little putting it back together, but and then dating for 4 years. And I was like, why did I even?
Right.
That was a terrible idea to get.
Oh,
into
you went
it.
back with him.
Yeah, because he wasn't my I justified it. You know how you justify
Yeah,
it.
you're
yourself.
like,
You're
well,
when
he'd
he
do it to
wasn't my
me.
boyfriend.
Yeah.
He
Oh,
was getting
yeah.
out of this
Wow.
relationship.
Yeah.
You
Yeah.
know,
He was in the
because he was like,
transitional
look, I just wanted
period.
her to get this abortion. I was being nice to her until
Oh, that's a good lie.
Yeah.
Because guys always say that. He
But
was like,
one of my rules is if he did it to her, he'll do it to you.
right, right.
Right. So a lot of times we get into situations, right, and you think that he's gonna treat you differently, right? Or how you or how you
meet him
lose-
is how
how
you-
you
How you
Exactly.
get it is how you keep them.
exactly.
Yeah.
So I feel like
Even if you see
that's
with
a
Rick Ross
lesson.
and Christina Mackey right now and everything that's going
Wow.
on with that.
Exactly.
Yeah.
But it's you can't change a person
Yeah,
and
he
who
has a
they are
history.
and their character, right? So it's almost like don't get into a situation trying to change a person. You gotta, meet someone where they're at.
Yeah, either enjoy yourself or if that's not what you want, then be realistic. What about you, Akeem? Tell us about some red flags that you...
None. I don't date. I'm just be out here in these streets.
But you've been trying to. There's been a couple of times that there's been people you're like, I really like this person.
No, there has been some. Okay, so there was this dude I was talking to, and there were definitely red flags, and I'm still actively ignoring them.
Fair enough.
He's had 2 wives, and now he's into men again. Now he's like gay, and we're still talking. So I'll be on the next episode. I'll let y'all know when he breaks apart.
Does he consider himself bisexual, or is he now gay?
He's gay.
Okay.
He's here for the dick now.
He's gay.
Team dick.
What about
so tune in in 3 or 4 more months. I'll be up here like he fucked a woman. Like
he went back to the other side.
Is he openly gay or does he?
Yeah.
Okay.
Openly gay.
And Gigi, what about you?
Oh man, you know my biggest red flag.
What?
There's 2 actually. Oh my God, y'all, I can't breathe. I'm sorry. There's 2 actually. So the first one is I went back to the same person 18,000 times, even though he was cheating on me and, going behind my back and having sex with girls that we had threesomes with and all types of shit. First red flag. Second red flag was I said yes to a 3-day engagement and it was engaged for 65 days.
Wow.
And I was really for it.
But I don't know if that's a red flag.
It was.
That's a red flag.
It was. I mean,
3 days.
I called his bluff and said yes, but like it was a whole total like love bomb. That's a red flag.
Yeah.
Well, yeah,
I
you
love
don't
bombing.
get
I should've saw
engaged
that.
to call someone's bluff.
Was he
Yeah.
fine?
Yeah.
She said, yeah, he was.
I didn't know. I mean, I experienced love bombing, and of course, many times. But when I was able to understand what it really was, and how many times I've experienced it, and the letdown after.
Yeah.
I've done some stupid stuff with fine people. Fine people will make you do dumb shit.
Tell me what love bombing is exactly. I know it's like people just.
It's like an
Going all
outpour
out for you.
of attention in the
And
beginning.
affection.
And
In the
affection.
beginning.
From the start.
It is that's a huge red flag to me. When a friend of mine comes up to me and says like, oh, we talk all day. I'm like, that ain't right. Why y'all talking all day?
Yeah.
Why y'all going
You
back
don't
and
have
forth
nothing
all
else
day?
going on.
It doesn't make sense, right? Because, they can't maintain that type of attention. So it's all about the hunt that they're chasing you to get you.
But isn't
it's
that
like,
kind of normal in the beginning where you like talk all the time? And
Yeah, but love
It's a red
bombing,
flag.
love bombing is more when it feels obsessive.
Yeah.
It feels like, and they are also, everything you want, they mold themselves into like appearing that they are those things. I
Yeah.
experienced that.
Yeah.
And it was a lot for me because it went from one extreme to the other. Because when he realized that I wasn't ready to go there, it was like, and then he probably went somewhere else and tried something. And then when that didn't work out, came back. But the love bombing it's somebody who keeps you so occupied that you don't have time
For
for
anything
yourself
else.
and your own life.
to really assess what's happening.
Yeah.
Because you're constantly
So
being
invested.
distracted.
You're
Ooh,
so
you know
invested.
what? I'm glad you said. All right, I want to read this to you guys because this is a post that I saw on social media and see if you agree or disagree. I never used to understand why people in healthy relationships isolate themselves from everyone, but now I get it. Once you find your person, you realize the thing you have been uselessly searching for and come and go friendships, relationships, and partying will never amount to the presence of this one human. And so you know how when you get into, Ida's like, no.
That's the
But
textbook definition of love bombing.
Really? Because I saw a lot
think
of people
so.
liking this post. And you know how you could be with somebody and it's like really just the two of you, like you don't go anywhere anymore.
Yeah.
You just be with your boo.
I don't think
And
that's
they end
toxic.
up in tents under the freeway.
Yeah.
I just think that's I remember I went to Della Reese's church. It was like the science mind church, like metaphysical thinking church. And I remember that the lady preaching said, y'all out here fantasizing about Jerry Maguire, you complete me. She's like, that's the most dysfunctional thing I've ever heard in my life. 2 incomplete people do not make a whole person. 2 incomplete people just equal 2 incomplete people.
Yep.
It's important to be a fully realized and self-developed human being that has your own life and your own existence to be able to be in a healthy relationship. This is what I've been learning in this thing because I was with somebody who would do everything with me. He would go. He'd be at the comedy club and they'd be like, "You going up tonight?" Because he was there
so much.
Right.
You waiting for your turn?
Yeah, he was there too. They were like, "You got to have a set at this point."
Yeah.
But it's not healthy, and it's insecurity that you latch on to somebody, you trauma bond, and you're with them all the time. And what happens to you, the individual? Because we all came here alone with our own purpose. So what you do when you, what are y'all gonna, we gonna start a label together.
Yeah.
It's just unhealthy. It is the epitome. And yes, when you are in a romance and you are in love with somebody and it works, there are moments where everybody else disappears. But what you gonna do when you have a baby? You gonna ignore your baby because you with this person? You know, like, what about your job, your career, your own purpose?
Yeah.
What about your grandmama? You're not gonna see your grandmama no more because he is the one? That sounds crazy.
Yeah.
What do you think, guys? Have you ever been in that situation?
I think I was codependent before. I think I had this conversation with you, right? Like just being in my marriage. So like you said something interesting. You said you came into this world alone, right? Most of the time you're going to die alone. Yeah. So whether the person dies before you or you die before them or whatever, or they cheat and they break up, I always feel like you have to learn how to be happy with yourself, right? You have to learn how to be happy with yourself, because if you're dependent on that other person to make you happy, then you're not really happy, right? So I feel like I can see a situation when you're in love and you're with someone every day, and that's cool, but don't lose yourself in that. Because anything can happen. And you don't want to feel like, you're so codependent that you can't exist without that person when that person goes away.
I feel like it's impossible for me to be with somebody all the time anyway.
Yeah.
Yeah, because I'm like,
because
because I'll be at work, I'm here, I'm doing other things. Like, if I'm with somebody, if I'm lucky, I'm going to see you for like 4 hours.
Yeah.
But you also have your own Angela Yee life. You go on trips with your girlfriends.
Yeah.
People have a problem with girls' trips. I saw that a post about that. Like, I don't do girls' trips, and if I go somewhere,
who has a problem with it? Is it men that have a problem with it?
No, women. Like, I'm not doing no girls.
Oh, any woman who's like, I don't have any women friends. I'm like, so you're just not a fun.
That is a red flag.
You're not a fun person.
Yeah, like
you don't have any women friends. That's wild.
It's usually you hate yourself.
Yeah.
So
I hate other women.
Yeah, that's just weird.
That's
to me.
weird.
Yeah,
because I have all type of friends.
Right,
right. The same. I feel the same way with some. Even some straight gay people were like, I don't have any gay friends. I'm like, why don't you have any gay friends? I don't have a lot because I do comedy for a living, but I still have some.
But my idea of being in a good, healthy relationship is being with somebody who, when I go on a girls trip, is like, I trust my woman. I know she's going to be, and I can be like, oh, he in Vegas with his boys. You not nervous? No, because if he's going to cheat, he'll cheat down the street.
Right.
Yeah.
It's not, that's
location has nothing to do with cheating. If you're going to be a cheater, you're going to be a cheater.
Cheat. Yeah, exactly.
My boyfriend is like, I like when we miss each other.
I like that too, right? When you're away from someone and then you get to miss them, because then you value the time you spend together more so.
What about friends of the opposite sex? Like if you're with somebody, and I want to say I saw this, was it on Taylor Rooks and Joy Taylor's podcast? They were saying that they couldn't trust a man who didn't have female friends. And I've always said that too, because I
agree with that, because if you don't have female friends and you're a straight man, then that leads me to believe that you only think of women as sex.
Exactly.
As sex. And if you only see women as sex objects, then that's gross.
Yeah.
Because some people think there's no such thing as platonic friendships.
Those are unhealthy people.
And those are people that...
Yeah, I hate when people say that.
Yeah.
Like
so
that they can't be platonic.
Oh, I've been that insecure. I have been that insecure that I have felt threatened by a female relationship that my partner has with a woman that's been platonic before I even came along. But I know that it was insecurity, which I that's step number 7. But I've been that insecure where I've been like, I'm the only friend you need. You don't need to be friends. And this other thing, because being Puerto Rican, that's very celebrated in our culture. Like my mom is like, because Puerto Rican women are jealous and we violent. And I'm like, that's toxic and unhealthy and it's exhausting. And to walk around being that all the time is not going to do anything but make your liver sick. Like, I don't want to live my life like that. But I've been so insecure in a relationship that the thought of my partner looking at somebody's page made me feel, because it was how I feel about myself. So, you know, and I don't want to be like that. I want you to have a friend. I want you to see women as people.
Right.
You know?
No, you're right. How after you put out your book and your special and the documentary and everything that you've done, do you feel like there's been like a weight lifted off of you for being able to tell your story?
Yeah, you know, it's funny. My therapist told me, because I've had a pinched nerve for like 6 weeks. And my therapist was like, you have trauma trapped in your body. And my masseuse was like, I would not be surprised that since you had that download of all that stuff coming out, it's all just trying to get out of your body. Because, you know, I got raped. So, and trauma gets trapped in your physical body. And that was the other thing that I've been dealing with in this thing, is like getting that stuff out of me. But I said things in that book my mom still hasn't read it because I don't want her to read it because I don't want her to hurt. But I said things in that book that I had never been able to get out. And it was only because I sat down and wrote it that I was able to get that stuff out of, you know, and hopefully it'll help somebody else, you know, because people like you, Puerto Ricans, were like, you don't air out our dirty laundry.
Yeah. That's definitely a cultural thing too. I mean, even for Caribbean culture, you're not. Everything is supposed to be like in the family.
And that's how nothing gets. And that's how
Asian
nothing gets
culture's like
fixed.
that too.
Yeah.
That's how nothing gets fixed. If you keep it all in, that's how.
Yeah, sweep it under the rug.
I wonder what the conversation you'll have with your mom is, if she ever or when, because I know at some point.
She will. I forgave. I mean, I told her I had to forgive myself because a lot of the stuff was me holding that in. But I adore my mother, and
I know you talked about how you don't want people to hate your mom,
No.
and that was a big deal for you.
She had her first baby when she was like 13.
Yeah.
And she was a victim of abuse. And so what was she going to do? You know, that's the thing. Like, people are like, when you hear those conservatives talking about liberals and you hear them talking about poor people, there's no father in the home and all that bullshit that they're always saying about things that, you know, affect everybody, not just people of color. There are a lot of single parent-led white homes in rural America. But that's the bullshit, that the things that we are always holding people to these metrics where they don't have the resources to meet. My mom didn't grow up in, you know, going to school, having therapy, having resources.
Most people's parents didn't do that. That's a new phenomenon.
Very much
So I have to give her grace. Like, what was she going to do? She was a kid with a kid. You know what I mean? And so,
And like you said, forgiveness is for you also.
oh, it's self-care, baby. The best self-care you can give yourself.
Wow.
Akeem, I can't wait till you write your book.
That's a tell-all.
I know.
Me neither. Come on, Audible, give me one of them deals.
Oh, gosh. Because, you know, comedy is a form of therapy, too.
Yeah.
Yeah, it is.
I know. That's how Aida got started.
It is. But I will say it is also not therapy, comedians.
Man, it's become a mess. I'm embarrassed to be a comedian right now.
It is.
Y'all are going crazy.
Yeah.
I mean,
You guys are like,
Don't say y'all.
WWE.
No, but you would
Oh,
think.
it is a lot of
It's just drama, though. But you would think by the way that these comedians be talking that they can fight.
Yeah.
Wow.
That's why I know I can't fight. I talk about how I can't fight.
There's a couple of them,
Please
you
don't.
know.
But I am not. I am not a fighting gay. I'm not one of them gay. Like, that is not
But do
me.
you, all right, and then do you feel like you have to pick a side sometimes, too? Because there are people who,
Sometimes, yeah.
you know, they see you with this person, but you have some type of solidarity with this person who might have put you on more than this person.
Yeah.
You know, that's hard because
Well, you know,
people are sensitive. Comedians are sensitive.
I'm friends with a comedian who has beef with everybody.
I know. You quoted him earlier.
Yeah, he actually took me on the road when my grandmother died. Was the one that was like, I'm talking about Corey Holcomb.
Yeah.
You know, like, I don't inherit other people's beef because
Yeah.
I think that the thing about, and my son was the one that told me, he's like, you dealing with somebody else's situation that you have nothing to do with. You don't know where those people were at that point in time where they going through this, and now you want to say, oh, because you said this.
Yeah.
It's really hard in comedy. I will tell you what I'm so disappointed by. What I'm disappointed by is all this beef, all this he say, she say, they say, we say, and ain't nothing coming out in the comedy. Like, I would expect that after said comedian said all these things, that comedian was like, bah, 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 you would see a slew of comedy specials with some fire ass jokes. Like when Nas and Jay-Z.
Yeah.
Let's get some
Takeover. You like,
Yeah.
where are those comedy specials that are like?
But they're not
Putting it out there.
podcasts. All they're doing is like, you talk shit about me on a podcast.
I'ma go
just
to a
wait till
podcast
I get
and
on a podcast.
No.
It's like, go on stage.
Yeah.
I'm going, take it on, right?
Yeah.
The most clever joke.
Yeah.
That you could ever write about. Remember when Jamie Foxx did that special when he said LL Cool J punched him all in his mouth?
Yeah.
It was, he went on stage
Yeah.
and did jokes about the people who had said something about him. He went in on J-Lo.
Yep, I
but it was,
remember that.
it was in the jokes.
And it was funny.
And it was funny.
And then you kind of can't get mad because it's comedy. I mean, you can,
Yeah.
but it's
you
also,
understand
But at
that
as long as it's
it's
funny,
in the jokes.
At
you know,
least it's in the, but now everyone's just like, they're just doing it on the
Where's
podcast.
the comedy ether? Where is the takeover? That's what I was, as a comedian, I was like, all right, we shaking it up.
Yeah.
Cat Williams did
Here
the
it comes.
insurrection on January 4th.
Yeah.
Let's go.
Right.
Yeah.
And,
But he has been on stage, and I haven't been at the shows, because now it's also harder to see the content because you can't bring phones in.
Yeah.
You gotta,
Which I think is good.
Yeah. So there might be stuff going on. We just may not also.
Oh, but I know Cat talks about it on
Yeah.
stage.
I
because
feel
I've
like
seen
he has
clips.
because I've seen a couple of little clips. But
Well,
I
I
feel
did
like,
a show with Cedric on Friday, and he talked about it. He
Oh, he
talked
did? Okay.
and it was
Okay.
funny, and it wasn't even. It wasn't malicious because Cedric is not a malicious person.
He doesn't
That's the
seem
thing.
like it is at
People
all. I
will
don't
say,
know.
"Why is Cedric?" Cedric is not. He's not a
He
malicious.
seems like a family guy.
Yeah, he's just not. He's a good spirited person.
Yeah.
Right.
And the thing about this is like we as people of color will shit on each other and shoot each other out. But we get in these public spaces that none of these white names come up.
None.
And you only black comedians stealing jokes.
Yeah.
Only Latino
Yeah.
comedians stealing jokes.
Ain't no
Why
way.
y'all ain't calling everybody out? Why
Right.
you only calling the people who look like you out?
That's why I said this on Godfrey's podcast. I think Cat Williams is like the king of code switching because he went on Club Shay Shay with all this animosity and energy and called out Earthquake can't read. This nigga ain't shit. He did all that. And then he called out Joe Rogan. He's like, Joe Rogan's been booking the same mediocre white people. And then he went on Joe Rogan's show and proceeded to talk about space and aliens for 3 hours.
Wow.
I'm like, nigga, you just said that he wasn't shit. Now you on his show, say that he ain't shit. Like,
Say
what?
it to his face.
Yeah.
I didn't watch
Talk about that.
It
I
was
didn't either.
3 hours of aliens made the pyramids.
Wow.
all I saw was the menthol conversation.
Yeah.
Because Roland Martin had some things to say about that. The menthol cigarette.
That was wild. It's like, so you read 3,000 books and none of them was on menthols, nigga? Like,
Right.
When you got journalists coming back with clever jokes and the comedians are butthurt. I'm like, why you in your field? And then you go sit around the most instigating people that are just gonna be like, hey, so such and such is because everybody's trying to get their videos to go viral.
Yeah.
Go to Netflix and say, I got a fire ass hour. I'm gonna address all of
All
this.
of this
shit.
I wouldn't even talk on a podcast. I'll be like, you know what? See me on y'all
Yeah.
know
That's like
Stage.
though it takes so long because by the time you address things in a Netflix special, it'd be like this
year
happened
later.
a year and a half ago.
Oh yeah, like Chris Rock. But you know what? The thing is, you going on stage, record it, and put the clip up. That's
Right.
what everybody
that's
else
what it is.
doing.
And then
clip up.
it's still stand up.
Yeah, do the stand up clip.
Yeah.
Well, Godfrey's like he's doing a GoFundMe, so shout out to him for that because he wants to do his own special, and so he's trying to raise money to do it because it's time.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And I do admire when people can say, all right, I'm gonna figure this out. I'm gonna own my stuff.
Yeah.
You know,
Yeah.
and bring
Let's
it right
make it
to
happen.
Because the industries are still being the industry. So they pick who they like. And if they don't like you, you kind
That's
of
what we should be rebelling about. That
Yeah.
somebody like Godfrey doesn't have an hour set.
Exactly.
Right.
That's what you should be.
And he
doing.
could, like somebody would do it. You
Yeah.
know, he said Shaq hit him up.
Yeah.
But it's also ownership too, and,
Yeah,
and
absolutely.
having control over the content.
But the fact that Netflix hasn't came to him with a deal is insane.
right.
But it's like, but they like who they
Yeah.
like. And if
Yeah.
you're not the Dave Chappelle's of it all,
But then I look at like a Joe Coy who couldn't get a deal either, and then did his own special,
and then he
And
sold
then
it.
they-
and then
Yeah.
sold it. You
Like-
know,
Yeah.
and maybe you'll get more.
Yeah.
I don't know that anyone who did They Ready, all 12 of us,
Yeah.
got an hour special from Netflix.
No, they
Not
didn't.
one of us.
Yeah.
Wow.
Which is insane because
Well, that's
every one of you or justifiably could do an hour.
Oh, for sure. I mean,
Yeah.
I went and did mine at HBO Max, but
Yeah.
what I'm telling you is nobody in that. And listen, we got viewership because even though they don't give us our numbers, there are people there who do tell you, hey, look. Yeah. But the thing is, there are people who've been doing stand-up way longer than me who deserve an hour special before me. Yeah. I am humble enough to say that. But they didn't give anybody. We can't sit around and wait on these institutions.
And Aida produces specials as well for other comedians. You know what I'm saying? Walk that walk, talk that talk, okay?
And Angela goes to them.
I go to them. Yeah, I will be there. All right, well, listen, you guys, I appreciate y'all for coming through. We were all over the place today.
Yes, we were.
We talked about sex parties and we ended with therapy.
What a
Which is what you need after you go to a sex party. You need therapy.
Right. But Aida Rodriguez, Akeem Woods, I appreciate both of you. Make sure you follow them. Make sure you go see Aida's on tour right now.
Yeah, funny Aida. So actually, April 6th, I will be with in Prairie, Texas, with T.I., Tiffany Haddish, Ryan Evans, and Capone. We're doing a show. So make sure you check that out. But if you go to funnyaida.com, you'll see where all my shows are, and make sure you check them out.
You might see me there. Ooh. And Akeem?
Same thing. AkeemWoods.com has all my tour dates. I can't think of any April dates right now, but they're there.
But go look at Akeem.
Yeah, AkeemWoods.com. I don't know where I'm at, but I'm out here.
But I'm out there.
All right. Well, Gigi, South by Southwest on the way. Magic City documentary on the way.
Can't wait to see
Kim
that.
Osario. Woo, girl.
I'm not on tour.
Not on tour, but we'll see what's
But we
coming
are tuned into the Impact every week.
Oh.
Yes.
Good to hear. All right. It's lip service.